In this video, we'll look at a step that is used to record QC data that is manually entered into Clarity. We will do this when there's no data file from the QC hardware that Clarity can read. Such a step might be used to track the data from Qubit hardware. So in my system, I have some samples ready for Qubit. I'll select some, add them to my ice bucket, and we go to the record details screen at first, and we'll come back and look at the step level custom fields. But first we'll focus on the table below. We see the table has been configured to have a QC flag, a concentration and a concentration units fields for each sample. And we are perfectly fine to enter in data into these fields because this is manual entry. You can enter data into the Clarity interface directly, or if you prefer, you can enter data via Excel. To do that, we would click on the Copy Samples button, and I'm going to bring up Excel and we will paste, and you'll see that any data that we entered has been copied across. To save time, I'm going to randomly generate some data so that you don't have to watch me enter the data manually. On the concentration units, I'll put in. So how do we get this data back into Clarity? We'll select all, copy, back to Clarity, and click the Paste Samples button. Paste the data, say Update, and now the data that we had in Excel has now been entered into Clarity. And these copy and paste buttons are available on all Clarity steps, but we haven't really had a good reason to use them outside of this step. So the other field, and you can see that this field is required, that we need to set is the QC flag. Now I could set this manually for each sample, but actually there's a better way. This is where the values above come. So let's say that anything between 10 and 22 we will accept as a pass. So let's put in our lower limit, 10, our upper limit, 22, and we'll press the button that will run a script. The script has run, given us a little summary, and if we scroll down now, we can see that yes, this sample was outside of the range and has failed, etc. So this is great, obviously, if you have a large number of samples. You don't want to eyeball the criteria manually, have the script do it. So we've looked at two ways in which we can manually enter data into Clarity using the Clarity interface or using Excel if you prefer, and also how, even though this is a manual step, we can have a script provide some automation in the setting of the QC flags.